When will I be good enough to be all I wanna be? When?
In terms of results, it's important to get communities to get something they can do together. Sometimes identify a project that they can work on. When I worked in the Human Rights Commission, we had something, we used to call them human rights roads. Roads.
Roads.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We had this partnership with the Ministry of Roads, with road engineers, who I can tell you in the beginning were, they couldn't understand what we were trying to do,
right.
But we borrowed the concept from somebody else, some guy from Sweden who came and told us, oh, you can work with road engineers to do something together, because we tried to zero in on what does this community really want? What is it that we can get for them that can benefit all of them, that can bring them together to work on it together, so that then they have a sense of ownership, and at the same time they know each other, that they can bond without knowing that they are bonding. So we began this project on building human rights roads.
Human rights roads.
Yes.
I love it.
So now the roads we were building were very basic roads, the Maram roads, not these high-tech kind of roads like we have here in Nairobi, just a basic Maram road. And it began with a meeting. We would do a meeting of the community. The communities in conflict would come and sit together, and we would have a meeting. And in the meeting, with the road engineers, and initially the road engineers were so bored in those meetings. Then we would ask them, what do you want a road for? And they would say, no, first we'd ask them, do you need a road? And they would say, oh, yes, we need a road. And then they would say, oh, we are so shocked, we are being consulted. No one consults us. When they are building a road, they just come and tell you, we have to take some of your land, we'll pay you back, and you as well, and then they build the road. So they'll be shocked that they're being consulted. And then second, then we'd ask them, why do you need the road? And they would say things like, we need a road to take us to a school, to take us to a hospital, to take us to the marketplace. We need a road that goes somewhere. And then we would ask them to identify the person, to do a kind of committee within that would then take the ideas forward, people we would be speaking to. And we would insist that in the committee, we wanted the most vulnerable people in that community. We wanted them in that committee. So we would tell them, in every community you go to, there are some people who are just chairman of everything. So we tried so hard to ensure that those who are chairman of everything don't become chairman of this particular one. So that then you get these people who really nobody listens to, and we ensured that the women sat in these committees. And then when we then began the work on the road, one of the things that would happen would be that the women would get work on the road. And it actually came out in the meetings. It had never occurred to us that women don't work on roads until they told us, something, when I am cultivating my garden, the garden at home, the shamba, we call it shamba. My husband does not expect me to go there and plant potatoes and plant cabbage and everything. I'm the one doing the manual work with the hoe, but the work on the road is manual work with the hoe, but they get payment for that. So now it's the men who are getting the payment for that. We are not getting the payment for that.
They want to
so they wanted to work on the road, which was a very, very interesting proposition. And the road engineer said, no, we haven't seen women working on that.
We haven't seen a woman on the road before.
So then the women began working on the road. When I was growing up, my mother would carry, if she was going to cultivate, like to go to the garden and plant her potatoes and everything, she would carry her baby, whichever baby was young,
strapped onto your mother.
And then put the baby under a tree. And then she would dig, get there, then go and feed the baby, and then, keep going until the day was over. So many of us grew up under those trees, and you start walking around there. So the women began coming, but then they would come with their babies. And the road engineers were getting very tired of this arrangement. And we had to seek now donor funding just to sustain the project. And then we then got the engineers realized that many of the men, they were paid weekly. They would get money and then they would disappear for 3 days because they would go and get drunk. Then they would disappear. But the women came every day. They would come with their babies, but they came every day.
Yeah.
So essentially, at the end of it all, we had a road. We had women working on the road. Then so many community problems began getting solved through that road.
Through the building, right.
And like for example, it was brought to our attention that there were quite a lot of young people whose parents had died of HIV, and they couldn't work because they're not allowed legally to do so, but they needed to work. So they began working on the road, and we would pay the uncles. Then the uncle would disappear with the money, and the women formed a cooperative to take care of these young boys and girls, and they would work, and the women would keep the money, and they would, and ensure that the money go to the young kids.
Wow.
So anyway, long story, but at the end of it, we managed to get, I think the climax was that, do you have that Men at Work sign?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, roadwork sign.
By the time we were done with the project, the roads, the foremen were all the women and the young men. Mm-hmm. So it was a substantial people in society who hadn't done that kind of work before. And then we had this huge party of where we were laughing, and then the women burnt the Men at Work sign. So they burnt it. Yeah, they burnt it too. They lit it up and it burnt, and